Come, I am the Moonshine King. You are very creepy to me. But welcome to my review of the second episode of the 11th series of Doctor Who of this century with the 13th Doctor, Joe Whittaker. If you watched my episode 1 review, you will know that I was not fangirling over it at all. I found it underwhelming for sure, baffling, confusion to you. And this episode is not a step up, I'm afraid. I think we have possibly lowered. In fact, there was no more sticking fingers up noses in order to figure out whatever it was she was doing. But the Doctor's superpower arsenal has expanded indeed, because now she can stick her finger on a person's neck and they get paralyzed. They can't move while she has her devil pressed there. But anyway, the plot. The plot indeed. Well, I must tell you, I won't talk about it too much this time because there seems to be even less plot than the last episode. I thought the beginning had some promise actually. I thought from the first half it might have turned out better than the last one. Except of course I found it straight away a bit baffling. As you might remember from the last episode, at the end the Doctor had accidentally transported everybody into space, and this starts with the Doctor and his female companion Khan. They are on a ship, and the Grandad and the boy are on another ship, which, by the way, neither of which actually looked or felt believable from the inside. There was the definite atmosphere of, this is just a children's TV set piece. So the show has gone backwards in terms of believable spaceship interiors. But anyway, they were both picked up by a different captain or spaceship flyer, since they don't actually have a crew or anything. Pilot, perhaps. And the old man and the young man are worrying about the Doctor and the woman, because the pilot keeps telling them that they saw no sign of anybody else when she picked them up, and it would be too late to go back anyway. They would already be dead. And I couldn't comprehend this really, unless I am missing something. How is it possible that the Doctor and the girl were picked up without the old man and the boy noticing? They weren't unconscious last time we saw them. We could see their eyes darting about. And the person who picks up the Doctor and the girl, how come he didn't notice the old man and the boy also hovering around in space? Helpless indeed. But regardless, they're on two different ships. One lands on this planet, and the other crashes soon after. Oh yeah, the Doctor initially warned the girl to stay in her healing pod, but she never actually goes back in, and was completely fine soon after. So that made me question whether the Doctor is a bit clueless. I mean, if she had a bit more authority, and the girl had a bit of brains, the wise thing to have done was make sure she goes back into that pod, and make sure she doesn't die from whatever effects being out in space might have inflicted upon her. But apparently there are nothing serious to worry about. Anyway, soon enough they all reunite. Okay, the plot, I'll sum it up. These two pilots were told to come here to finish off a race. They are the last two remaining. They come visit a hologram guy in a hologram tent, who I guess put this whole thing together. And whoever wins the race by getting to this ghost monument wins the huge cash prize. The Doctor recognizes the ghost monument as the TARDIS, and so everybody's interest is piqued when they learn they can get off this alien planet after all. And the planet is supposed to be pretty deadly and dangerous. You can't drink the water because you die or something. and they were advised not to travel at night. And that's the story. These two pilots are racing to get to the finish line, and I say racing very liberally. There's not a whole lot of sweating going on here. There's actually a lot more sleeping and talking than actual racing. I mean, the two pilots and all the companions even traveled together. The only part they split up was when they reached this abandoned architecture ruined place, and then the woman pilot and the man pilot decide to go their separate ways. But that doesn't last long, let me tell you. The deal with the man pilot is that he doesn't trust anyone. He likes doing things on his own, apparently. Except we never once see him do anything on his own, except sleep. But he has a negative attitude towards other people, because his mother, when he was little, encouraged him to climb a tall tree and jump into her arms. But at the last moment, she moved out of the way, and he fell and broke his bones or something. And this, he says, was the best lesson his mom ever taught him. And the deal with the woman is that her people and her family are being persecuted by some people, so she needs to win the fortune to go back and look for her family. Hopefully they're still alive, and then take them to safety. I don't think they even gave us a reason for the man, why he needs the winning. He was just a moody dude, basically. He was there for some reason, I don't know. Anyway, when they get to these ruins, they soon come across their first obstacle. Hooded figures. Very original. Turned out to be robots. Very original. And it was pretty farcical, to say the least. These guys made stormtroopers look like Robin Hoods, I tell you. I mean, the size of their laser shots for a start were enormous. They were so big, and they were flying all over the place, and still they were completely missing. The companions were all casually running off, and nothing came close when they were in open view. By the way, the effect did look quite bad. I think mostly to do with how thick the lasers were. They didn't even seem to match the guns they were coming from. But at one point, the Doctor has a bit of a disagreement with the young companion, whatever his name is, because he wants to use the robot's gun against them, so he takes it against the Doctor's advice. She is totally against guns, and as you would see in a cheap comedy scene, he goes running out yelling, gun blazing, and shoots down the robots, which I don't think even attempted to shoot back, as I recall, even though they vastly outnumbered him. But just when he is reveling in his victory, the robots just get back up, and his gun stops working, and he yells, and just runs all the way back to their safe place, where he gets quite a scolding from the Doctor. They go into some tunnels because the Doctor needed to find out why the place was deserted, what was up with the planet, and what was going on all around. And the answers weren't very interesting at all. It was just the scientists were kept here by the alien race that had been causing trouble in the last episode. When they mentioned the name, I knew it sounded familiar, but I didn't at first make the connection. I thought it was some iconic villain from ages past, but no, just the last episode. Anyway, apparently they forced these scientists to experiment and make these dangerous various weapons, I guess. And I can't remember what happened. I guess they all just got killed or something, and the dangerous stuff was released into the planet. It really wasn't very engaging stuff, but anyway, the moody guy had gotten injured previously, and now went to sleep some more, because the Doctor clearly wasn't acting like a very good doctor, by treating his wounds or something. Nope, you just go and sleep it off, and if you're lucky, we'll wake you. She literally said something like that. I thought this was meant to be a race. This was the most unexciting race I have ever seen, and I don't think that is even an overstatement. And I thought this guy was taught never to trust anybody. Yet he gladly takes a little nap while his competitor is helping look for a way out. And he could come back at any moment and smother him while he sleeps if she so wishes. Or, like the doctor said, just leave him there and take the winnings. But it's not she who tries to smother him. It's this snake-like towel. There's this towel that pops up and tries to suffocate him by latching around his mouth. And somehow he still manages to scream pretty loud and alert the group, who are in a completely different area now. I mean, that voice should not come from someone being smothered by a towel snake. But they managed to save him. The woman competitor cuts the snake rag off him. And they can't stay in the tunnels for some reason. Life support was switched off or something, so they are forced to go up into the night, though they were warned not to, of course. And remember how this planet is supposed to be so deadly and dangerous, and all sorts of threats lurking? Well, apparently all there was outside was a load more of these dirty rags flying around, threatening to eat them somehow. And they blow them up using the moody guy's lighter, and the fire literally goes up to everyone's face. A wall of fire just above them as they lay on the ground. I don't know how accurate that is, but I can't dispute it, so I'll just accept it. But anyway, the next scene, it's already daylight. Now, they did not spend that much time in there for the whole night to have passed so quickly. Unless, of course, nighttime is only about 30 minutes or something on this planet. I know they had 2 suns, but I'm not sure how that affects things. But secondly, that was so anticlimactic, is the important point. This planet was built up to be so hazardous, so full of traps, and all we actually see are a bunch of hooded robots who can't aim, and a heap of old dirty serpent rags. A lot more could have been done with these ideas. Oh yeah, and they mention how the water is undrinkable, but they never actually demonstrate the effects of that. And at one point the doctor and the Khan girl are stood right on the edge of the pier or whatever. It was just casually looking down at the water, where they could fall in at any moment if they were to slip. We could have seen more creatures, some failed experiments, or rather, succeeded experiments. Their purpose to create these gruesome, lethal nightmares. Just something more. Imagination, please. Have it rain acid. Have the thunder break glass. Have the lightning tear buildings apart. Just anything. This was so dull what they came up with. Just think of the possibilities. A planet built to tear you up at every turn. But nope. Also remember, this is supposed to be the last challenge of this race. The final obstacle. You'd think it would be at least half impressive. Something like the Hunger Games actually comes to mind. That controlled environment. Made to torture and challenge even the best of competitors. But not this place. Not at all. And the ending was dumb. When they reach their destination, the TARDIS isn't there for some reason. Just to create a suspense, I suppose. the hologram guy reappears in his tent and initially declines to give the award to joint winners because the two competitors finally agreed that because she saved him from the dirty rag and his lighter saved all of them from those dirty rags outside, then they should both share the winnings. But when the hologram dude said he would declare the prize forfeit unless there is one winner only, the moody guy gets all aggressive and threatens him, says he will hunt him down otherwise. And somehow this works. Yes, somehow, even though they have no way of leaving the planet without the hologram guy. I know one ship crash landed, I'm not sure about the other. I think it wasn't as bad, but was still unusable. So only this hologram dude has the power to take them away. There's nothing they could do to him, he's not even there. And no way of getting to him. Somehow the guy threatening him convinces him to split the fortune between them, and then he snaps his fingers and they all disappear. Well, leaving the doctor and companions behind, as he didn't care much for them apparently. And then there was a fake out where the doctor was saying she's failed them, they're all stuck here on this planet forever, they'll be dead within a week. And the rest of them are a bit more hopeful, saying we're a team, we're not giving up, we're still here, etc. And then conveniently the TARDIS just pops up and it's all fresh and new inside. I say fresh, but it looks pretty ugly and gloomy and like a crab. Again, the interior designs of these ships have really downgraded. Like I said with the screwdriver, it doesn't even match the doctor, this doctor, her personality or her image. It's like it came from hell. Where's the color? And how does the TARDIS just fix itself and completely redecorate and refurnish itself anyway? I don't remember how it was handled in the past, but I thought or assumed it was the doctor who manually redesigned, welded everything together. But in this case, that wasn't what happened at all. The last she saw of the TARDIS, it was blowing itself apart, and now it's completely gone through an overhaul. I don't know how that works exactly, but what can I say? Of course everybody was freaking out over the new design on Twitter, praising everything as they do. But this did not engage me. This was dull. This was anticlimactic. There was no real villain to this either. At least the first episode had that, even though he was bland also. The closest thing we got was that boring hologram man, who was barely in it and not frightening, and some hooded robot soldiers who can't aim, and some dirty killer rags. This was not exciting. Missed opportunities with the killer planet idea. And the mystery of why it was deserted was not intriguing at all. Some minor character development was here, such as the old man and the boy missing the grandmother who died, wishing she was here to see this. There was some slight conflict between them because the younger man, he doesn't like the sentimental talky stuff, whereas I believe Graham, he is called, the older one, he is all about that Khan is still Khan. She mentioned something about her family, to which the persecuted woman said never take them for granted, because she didn't even know if hers were alive. By the way, they're not human, these competitors. They had no idea what the humans even were, even though they look exactly like humans, and there didn't seem to be one thing differentiating them from humans. So again, pretty lazy. What did you think of episode 2, The Ghost Monument, which wasn't even important to the story whatsoever? The Ghost Monument, I'll remind you, is the referring to the TARDIS. But I had thought that the hologram guy was keeping the TARDIS himself, like he had it under his control or something, his keeping. But he never mentioned it again. And like I said, it wasn't even there when they came to the destination. And it only popped up again after the competitors left. So it was rather pointless. Definitely pointless. And what else can I tell you? So it was rather pointless. Especially to name the episode after it. It played no part in the story. But tell me your thoughts. Show me your crimes. And remember, jump on that subscribe button if you would like to eat the cheese. Farewell, my munchkins. Take care. My munchkins. Ah!
Thank you.